So what was the first indication that you were like to become an artist?
The first indication that I was likely to become an artist was during my undergraduate experience at Carlow University. And my professors saw me drawing, and they were encouraging me that I should become an art teacher. But for years I hadn't drawn at all. Yeah. So it was Professor Sue Powers, Professor Tom Beamster-Rower, William D. Bernardi, and Dale Huffman at Carlow University that had really made me aware and accept the fact that I was just doomed to be an artist.
So what role did your family play in your career choice?
Well, when I was very young, my father and brother, they didn't have a career in art, but they were experienced. They had gone to school for it before, and my mother encouraged me a lot, and they sent me to classes when I was very young. But once I got older, they weren't very supportive, and a lot of my peers and my siblings, they would make me feel like I was average, or just not any good at all, or like that art isn't practical. So for when I was about 16, I just abandoned art making altogether. I didn't draw, I didn't paint, I didn't do anything, but I did start to study language arts, and started to study a lot of humanities, like history and social studies. And the priority was paying bills so that I could be independent. But once I started to be more independent, and I started to learn more things about myself and the humanities, I was encouraged by my counselors and teachers and things to be an artist, and they basically gave me the support, to encouragement, and belief in myself that I could do it. So
I noticed your works have a very wide range, like sculptures, paintings, photographs, and so on. So is there a theme of your works?
In my early work, there isn't much of a theme that's connected. Most of it was just me developing the technical ability to paint, to sculpt, to be able to use different art forms to express my thoughts. But more recently, the theme of my work is socioeconomics. It's how economics shapes the world we live in. It shapes how we relate to each other. So social issues are very important to me, a very important theme in my work.
Like that.
The dollar bill.
Yeah, the dollar. Can you talk a little bit about that piece?
Yeah, that piece. It was, I think it's the first piece I did when I arrived at Penn State. And what I basically did was take different symbols that are familiar to Americans, but contradictory. And I juxtaposed them with each other to bring attention to the contradiction between capitalism and Christianity.
Okay. Yeah, you have been in China for 3 months, and I know that you're very interested in Chinese culture and Chinese language. Yeah, why are you so interested in it?
Because when I was younger, my mother exposed me to different religions and philosophies, and she just opened up the world to me and let me choose what made the most sense. And the Eastern philosophies of Buddhism and Taoism made the most sense and helped me understand and interpret the world around me. So it's basically through that philosophy that I interpret the world around me, and it allows me to create the work that I do.
Yeah. And how does this affect your works?
It's kind of difficult to see it in my work, but it's almost like Buddhism and Taoism don't necessarily are not an American or a Western idea, and I feel like Western ideas run contradictory to that. Instead of it, it seems like in the West, people exploit each other, and they provide others with temptation on TV and movies. I want to be a superstar. I want to be, a model, Xiao Yao Jing. But with Buddhism, it's taking the time to reflect and understand what the cause of suffering is, and that desire is the root of suffering. So in order to live a life in moderation and have peace of mind, I thought it made the most sense to study that, and it basically balances out Western society so that so that I can understand it and not get caught up in Western culture and how you can get trapped into this desire, this cycle of temptation and suffering.
Yeah. So will this affect your career choice in the future? Like your experience in China and your interest in?
Yeah. I would love to keep being an artist. I thought about returning to China to teach English or help artists there, or hopefully exhibiting art in China someday.
What was your most successful work?
I don't really believe that any of my work has been that successful. Usually, when someone who sees my work identifies some significant meaning in it, and they share it with me. They share what they see or what it means to them. That's when I feel like a work has been successful, because it's doing what it's supposed to do. Help people identify or remember something that has happened in their past.
Yeah. Do you have any past artistic decisions that you regret?
Sometimes I regret that I abandoned art when I was really young, when I was 16. But then I realized that all the things that I learned when I left art behind contributed to my ability to
learn art?
Well, not just to learn art, but to have something to say when I make art.
Yeah. So, what is your future plan?
Get rich! My future plan is to apply to residencies, exhibitions, to continue to develop my practice. In the future, I'd like to create more bodies of work. I'd like to exhibit more, participate in residencies, integrate sonic and visual arts, and teaching. I'd like to get more teaching experience and eventually maybe become an adjunct professor somewhere. But other than that, I mean, I'm pretty open to any opportunity that would present itself. So if somebody in China said, "Brian, why don't you come here and teach art or help artists?"
Yeah.
How much will you pay me? 会给我钱。